I am not from the east nor the west, not from the ocean or up from the ground. Not natural, ethereal, not composed of elements at all. I do not exist, am not an entity in this world or the next. I did not descend from Adam nor from Eve or any origin story. My place is the placeless, trace of the traceless, neither body nor soul. I belong to the beloved,
Belong to the beloved.
I belong to love,
Belong to love.
I belong to the beloved, belong to the beloved. Oh, I belong to love,
Belong to love.
I belong to the beloved,
Belong to the beloved.
I belong to love,
Belong to love.
I belong to the beloved, belong to the beloved. Oh, I belong to love, and that one place to exist. First, last, outer, inner, only that breath, breathing, only that breath breathing. Human being, I am only that human being. I am that, and I belong to the beloved.
Belong to the beloved.
I belong to love.
Belong to love.
I belong to the beloved.
Belong to the beloved.
I belong to love.
Belong to love.
I belong to the beloved. Belong to the beloved. Oh, I belong to love.
Belong to love.
I belong to the beloved. Belong to the beloved. Oh, I belong to love. I belong to love. We need become the pen, oh, in the sun's hands. We need for this earth to sing through our open eyes again. The body will become, our bodies will become so restless, until your soul paints all its beauty upon the sky, and you say, I am so alive. You say, I am so alive. Ishkala mabulela, ishkala mabule, I am so alive. Ishkala mabulela, ishkala mabule, I am so alive, so alive. Ishkala mabulela, ishkala mabule, I am so alive, so alive. Ishkala mabulela, ishkala mabule, I am so alive, so alive. I belong to the beloved, belong to the beloved. Oh, I belong to love, so alive. I belong to the beloved, belong to the beloved. Oh, I belong to love, belong to love. I belong to the beloved, belong to the beloved. Oh, I belong to love. I belong to the beloved, belong to the beloved. I belong to love. I belong, I belong, I belong. Bless your hearts. Thank you, Suicide.
Good stuff, good stuff. This month, the topic or the theme has been about transformation. And in transformation, if you look it up in Webster's or any dictionary, one of the definitions is to be radically changed. Radically changed. Now, that used to be scary for me. I honestly would never tell people what the real definition was, because there's a part of me that didn't want to be radically changed. Now, I really wanted to radically change everything else, but I didn't want to be radically changed. You know, tweaked maybe a little bit, and one of those apps that make you look thinner, but not necessarily radically changed. That was just the truth. I'm all for radical change now. I really am. The emphasis every October, for as long as I can remember, has also been on prosperity. So if we put those two together, transformation and prosperity, then my intention is for myself and anyone else who wants to get on board to radically change our experience of prosperity. And prosperity, the definitions of prosperity are to flourish and to thrive. So I would like to radically change my experience of thriving and flourishing. Anybody else like to radically change your experience of thriving and flourishing? Great, then you're in the right place. Now, because some of you only show up once a month, let me catch you up. Yeah, and you know who you are. So you can also get the CDs and see these on YouTube, because we have a YouTube channel. But let me just briefly run through everything. First of all, and this is definitely talked about in Edwin's book, but you need to have a purpose or a high intention that stretches you, because an intention or a purpose, and she uses the word purpose, but it's the way I use intention, so I'm going to use that word because I use it a lot around here, especially in January at the end of the year or the first of the year, whatever that is, that merging of years. An intention is something that is pulling you into a greater expression of yourself. It's almost like if you really give it voice, you have to grow into it. It's not something that you achieve automatically, but it stretches you into your true self. It moves you. Having a high and holy purpose or intention is allowing that which you are to become, it allows it a voice. It gives it voice. So you may have an intention to be freer, to be more loving. You may have an intention to be of greater service. You might have an intention to see more. I know that one of the first times I really used this actively, now I talked about it, but I used it very actively when I was at the changing of the years. It was December. And in December, I start thinking about the next year and what is my heart calling for? What is it that I want? And I really got this idea that I wanted to see the world. I believe that I'm going to be around forever. I don't believe I was ever not something. I'm hearing voices. Thank you, God. Because if we're all are, it's angels. If we're not, I'm crazy. Okay, so great. So I had this intent. I was asking myself, what do I want for the next year? And this desire, this overwhelming desire to see the earth, to see the planet came in me. Because I believe I'll be around forever, but I'm not sure I'm going to be on this pretty little globe next time. I mean, I don't think I'm going to end, but this may be my only time here. And there's a lot to see. So that was at the end of 1982, 92. And I think it was either January or February of 93, a woman came up to me and said, would you like to go to Russia? And she had a trip available. If I wanted to pay $800, I could go to Russia, and that included airfare. Because Russia was just opening up, and they were offering travel agents, which she was, great fares to Russia. She went for free, and she could take somebody with her for $800. That included everything. It's like, whoa, that was fast. I'll get back to it in a minute about some other stuff. So everybody get the purpose, intention. Have something that'll stretch you. Because truly, for a girl that had only gone back and forth from Washington to Oregon, seeing the world was a stretch to even say it to myself, and to go to Russia in 93 was a bigger stretch. The next thing that you get to do, if you choose to, and there's a chapter on this as well, which is forgive, 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 forgive. Big stuff, little stuff, all stuff, forgive. Now, if I was going to use my definition of forgiveness, it means I'll give up so God can give forth. I'll give up my ideas so God can give forth its ideas. I'll give up my opinion so God can give forth its sight. I will give up my judgment so that God can give forth its love and inclusion. I give up and it gives forth. And you do it on big, big things, like if there's something that you don't think you can forgive, that becomes your intention. And you continue to do this because it's very difficult to accept the flow of goodness, which is what the universe does. It's hard to accept that when you're closed off because you refuse to let some area of your life flow. It's just, forgiveness works. That's a whole nother talk. Get the talk. And you also do it with small things, and I don't think I talked about that enough. So the small things are the things that are so small you don't even think you need to forgive. But it's the little judgment, little criticism, little annoyance, little bit of a high and holy opinion about what's going on. Anybody of those? They build up. They're like plaque in your blood vessels. They are the plaque of your life. So you forgive, 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 forgive. So often I will go to sleep and scan my day and say, wow, I should have done this differently. I forgive myself. They should have done that differently. They really should have done that differently. Forgive them. It's a forgive, 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 right? Okay. Now, the next thing after you've done all of that is that you start, and we had to talk about this, it was called karma, and you do good and put good out into the world. You do good and put good into your world. What you give out will come back to you. So that means you spread good news, you spread evidence of good, you share possibility. If you hear something at a talk, why aren't you telling people? I mean, really. You are the beloved. I am the beloved. And when I know that, I am filled with life. Put that on Facebook. Because frankly, I'm tired of either politics or kitties. Really? I mean, neither one of them feed my soul. No, they're cute, but then they're over. It's like whipped cream, no substance. I want something that when I read it, I go, whoa, yeah. Edwin talks about getting ready to receive your good, which is what I'm going to really get to in a moment, about how to do that. And so one of the things that she does, and she recommends other people do, is to go on a fast, meaning don't do it, stop it, criticism, condemnation, and gossip for 21 days. So don't do that. She said she tried it the first time, and after the 20th day, she had so much energy. She was actually starting to think differently and view herself differently, because what we don't know is if it is all energy, it's so dissipated when we gossip and we condemn and we criticize. That's energy that could be used to build up your life and your awareness of yourself, that I am the beloved and I'm worthy of love, but instead we've used it, being smart about things. Because criticism and condemnation and gossip comes from I'm smarter than they are. That's a lot of energy. When you're really smart, you don't have to prove it. Just a thought. So we put good things out. Today I want to just shift a bit and talk about goals, which is also in this book. Now, the difference between an intention and a goal goes, let me give you an illustration, back to Russia. My intention was to travel. As soon as I was given the opportunity, my goal was to get a passport. And at that time, it took a long time. That time, it was like snail mail everywhere. You went down, you got processed, snail mail there, snail mail back. And I had to give all of my passport information to Russia, who wanted it a long time in advance because we were going to be there in April. And it was like down to the wire. My job was to get to, at the time, the only place you could get a passport was downtown Seattle. My goal was to get a parking place. My goal was to get the passport. My goal was to tell, through my friend that it'll be here any minute. Do you see that? Those goals are achievable, and they are specific, and they move you or support you in welcoming your intention, which your intention is a whole new life. The goal are the things that you're going to accept because they are your skin in the game. By the way, what's the game? 14-13. See? You don't even, like, who's paying attention? To me. See, it's cool. You don't have to watch the game. We'll keep you informed. Just relax. She didn't say what the 13 and the 14 was, but you all know. It's 14 Seattle, right? Yeah, 14 Seattle, 13 New Orleans. So, another illustration I want to have is that I had to form a whole new intention when about 8 years ago I lost my retirement. I had a pension, and it just fizzled. And I've been paying into it, I don't know, maybe 20 years. And because I'm a minister and had this pension through my ministerial association, and ministers can do this, I had opted out of Social Security. And then the pension went away. Woohoo! You know what? I had a new intention. And my intention was to be able to retire when I wanted to retire and live the life that I wanted to live. In fact, I'll tell you exactly what it was. I wanted to thrive, this is my intention, I wrote it down, to thrive forever. I wanted to thrive forever, not just thrive when I'm working, but thrive forever. That was my intention. Now, since then, the last 8 years, I have set financial goals. I know when I meet them and when I don't. And they lead me towards that vision of me thriving forever. I will also not just have financial goals, but I will also have source of income goals. Woohoo! You think your work is your income? Stop it. Now. That's another thing to give up for 21 days. God can bless you in so many ways. You think it can be hampered into one little tiny channel? If you do, that's all you'll get. So I used to say, okay, I want 5 sources of income. Now I want 7. I think I'm up to 12. I don't know what I'll have for next year. But I continue to expand the ways that I can be blessed. Because if I'm going to have financial stability, it's not going to be because of this job. Do you understand? It won't be. There's no stability in this because eventually I don't want this. Get it? Don't panic. Not there yet. So a goal is something measurable, tangible, and achievable, something you can check off. Now, here's how to have what I think are spiritually mature, effective goals. Number 1, be specific. So I want financial well-being, and specifically this year, I want to have this much money in my accounts. Some people don't like to get real specific. It's helpful. For many years, I wanted more love in my life, and I wanted it specifically in my relationship with my sisters. I wanted to have some sort of connection with my sisters. It's tangible, it's real. I know when they email me or send me something on Facebook, that's real. That's sisters. My sister saying, can we spend our summer vacation with you, which is only 1 week. 1 week. Well, it was 2 weeks, but 1 week. And want to spend it with me? Cool. Do you see that? That's something I can check off, a relationship with my sister. This is important because I could tell you so many examples, but I'll only use one because I think it's so funny. Edwina tells it in her book that one woman didn't want to get specific, and she says, I just want more love in my life. I just want more love in my life. She got home from the workshop, and someone had dropped a pregnant dog on her doorstep. And within hours, she had 5 puppies to love for the next 8 weeks until they grew up, left to give away. Be specific. Really. Really. So you're specific. The next thing is you must be consistent. Look at your goals over and over and over again. We will not make things happen, but we will make them welcome. And I have a whole workbook that I work with, and we give them away in our intentions retreat on intentions. And when I look at my intentions, things start to happen. If I just put it away and I'm not looking at it, nothing happens. Back to this whole thing about financial well-being. I had an intention set for this year for a certain amount of money in my accounts. And I looked at that amount, and I was 2 months out, and I'm going, I'm not going to get this at all. Well, strange thing, just by putting my attention on, wow, how am I going to come up with this amount of money in 2 months? Because I want it by the end of the year. How am I going to do that? One of the funds hadn't been sending me anything for the last year. They sent me my accounts. I'm way over what I thought I would get. It's put your attention on what you want. Now, here's the problem with this. We are predisposed to putting our attention on what might be difficult, worrisome, or troublesome. In another way of saying that, we are predisposed to being negative. There was a neuroscientist who did a study, and she studies how the brain interacts and what part of the brain is thinking and what part lights up. And she came up with this theory that our ancestors, I'm going to say, succeeded or thrived because they were pessimistic. Now, if you think about it, they're walking through the woods and they see a bunch of bent sticks and branches. The ones that say, something big's here. I better be prepared. It might be something that'll get me. I better be cautious. They had a greater survival rate than the ones that went, oh, what's this? Bent sticks. Wonder what this is. They didn't survive. So it's actually hardwired into us to look for what won't work. It's hardwired into us to not be too optimistic. Sorry, I'm going to use Cindy Clay. You knew this was coming, didn't you? Yeah, Cindy, I love Cindy. Sits right up front and says, go ahead, give it to me. But you were the perfect example. I can't help it. And luckily, she talked about it last week. I need to talk about it again because it shows up in the classes that I'm in. It shows up with the people that I'm teaching. I'm in the room, and they say something like, it falls down. I watch them shift in their brain almost automatically from being, I can do this, to, I probably can't do this. We got to know it because once you become aware, you have self-choice. You can choose whether to live out of your reptilian brain. I mean, it's not even a monkey mind. It's a lizard. You can choose what part of your brain you're going to activate and live out of. So Cindy, I remember when I was talking to Cindy, she had this bright idea. If you weren't here last week, I got to tell it again. I have this bright idea. I'm going to put on a virtual conference. And I don't want to do it all myself, so I'm going to invite 9 of my clients to be part of this virtual conference. She has this bright idea. But you know what? As soon as that bright idea is over, she starts to think nobody will want to do it. And she's told herself that for a week until divine intelligence said it again. Oh, just call them. How many of you have done this? How many of you have had an idea that might change your life forever? And then, seconds later, you rethink it. That's the lizard. I did that because 80% of you are visual. You'll never forget that, will you? You are going to remember that lizard brain. It is normal. Once she got it and she just got to her phone and called them, She invited 10 women. 1 was out of the country. 9 said yes. We have to be consistent with the goal that we set. So that's why all those little things like sticky notes and treasure maps work, because you're keeping it in front of you. You're keeping what you want in front of you. You're saying, this is who I am. This is who I am. This is who I am, because there's a part of you that says, I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. Yeah, it will speak. And what the woman said is by watching the brain light up, that you start to counteract that reptilian brain. You start to overcome negativity by constantly saying 5 times as many times as the negativity, the positive thing that you want. So when you say I can't, you've got to say I can 5 times. That's science. But a lot of us don't want to. We just want to have this aha experience and think that it's all going to work. We want to do this prayer with our prayer partner. Oh, yeah, I get it. Oh, I feel it. I got it, yeah. And then we get in our car. It doesn't take much. And we fall right off of that high hope. So if you're going to have a goal, be consistently describing that goal, affirming that goal, loving that goal. It doesn't mean that you don't do prayer. It doesn't mean that you don't do scientific mental treatment. You do that, and then you stay with it. You keep it in your head. See, our language shapes our beliefs like our beliefs shape our language. We cannot control our beliefs. I mean, how many of you sign up in the morning to think you're not worthy? Nobody does that. Nobody signs up in the morning to think I'm not good enough for this. Nobody signs up in the morning to think, you know what, I'm just going to believe it. Nothing will work today. We cannot control our beliefs, but we control our language, and language shapes belief. Be consistent. Be positive on the side of what you say you want. That also means that, once again, you're going to have to insert some forgiveness, because it's too easy to be righteously victimized. My husband, when I lost my pension, was really angry and wanted to go after him somehow. Yeah, it was really mismanaged, but it was mismanaged. The money's gone. I did not want to waste my time, my energy, and my consciousness going down the trail of blaming, because that makes me a victim, and I didn't want to be a victim. And besides that, that pension is not the source of my good. If I believe that I'm a victim and that was the source of my good, I have just cut myself off from my God, and I'm not going to do that. What I've got to say is, well, what are you going to do now? Because it's my intention to thrive forever. See the difference? All of a sudden, I'm not a victim. I am the master of this thing called life, because it does not matter what happens to us, it's how we react to it that will make us either a master or a victim. And that's what you do with goals. You choose them, you love them, you bless them, you keep them, you nurture them, and you grow them in the consciousness of your mind. How many of you would like to do that right now? Great. So I'm going to have Joel join me. I'd like you to just take a deep breath. And allow yourself to think of a large and expansive intention. See, an intention it's inclusive. It could be something like, I want more love. An intention could be something like, I want to travel. For me, an intention that I have is to have more fun. I have goals for that. But my intention is to be less serious and have more fun. My intention is to thrive. So let the spirit of truth speak to you about what a good intention is to claim in this moment. Or it could be something that you claimed at the first of the year and it's time to embrace it again. And now let the Spirit of truth, the Spirit of revelation, reveal to you a good goal to support that intention. The right next step to move you towards that intention. I have a really silly one. I want to have more fun. So one of my goals is to get Tim off the ranch yet. And he actually said yes to a weekend away. Check. What is your goal? When you know your goal, raise your hand. Allow yourself to know an intention and then to know a goal that would support that. And raise your hand. And so this prayer is for all those hands that are raised and all those that are waiting for the inspiration. I speak my word that God, the universe, something larger and grander than I am, the love intelligence that is the origin of all things. It is the lover that makes me the beloved. I turn my attention to that, and from that place I speak my word of blessing for each raised hand and for every person who hasn't quite raised it yet. I give thanks that I can bless and call good those intentions. If they express more life and harm no one, including themselves, I can bless it and call it good. And I am in agreement with that intention. And I bless each goal and I call it good. I call it the expansion of consciousness, the moving into thriving, the moving into flourishing, the living of prosperity. I call this good, and I give thanks that we are now moving into a transformed experience of knowing that what we seek has been seeking us. And that what we have claimed has been claiming us for a very long time. And the two shall become one. I bless the goal. I am in agreement with that person that holds them. Whatever your goal is, I agree with you. You ought to have it. There is a goal for you, and you ought to have it. And so I just give thanks that I can speak my word, that through the blessing of the Spirit of God that is existing in this very moment and operating through each and every one of us, I give thanks that that goal is now nurtured by that Spirit, watered by that Spirit, grown by that Spirit, and will flourish by that Spirit. I bless the goal. I bless the person that has it. And something rich is happening. And so it is.